Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk wrote an article, and it was more of an opinion piece than an article. It was more of a column than hard reporting that basically said the Browns, if they really want to, can try and pursue getting money back from Deshaun Watson if they can prove he re-injured his Achilles doing something he wasn't supposed to do. He said it's going to be hard to prove, and it could potentially damage their relations with future players and future ability to get players to come to Cleveland if they do that. But I was curious from your guys' perspective, and in your opinion, and Bo, we'll start with you. Is this an avenue you believe the Browns should pursue to try and get back as much money as possible from this Deshaun Watson situation, if it is, in fact, true that he did re-injure his Achilles doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing?
The answer is yes, but let me clarify. You're saying get back money. I don't care about the getting back money part. That's for Jimmy. I don't care if he gets the money or not. It's about the cap space that they could potentially get. Now, the odds of them being able to get out of this and get out of the cap space are probably less than 1%.
You think it's that low?
I think so, because they would have to prove he was being wrecked. First of all, I don't know if it was this column or somewhere else where I saw the list of activities he can't do.
Yeah.
It's like skydiving, bungee
right, I'm
jumping,
sure he wasn't doing any of those things.
Jet skiing.
But, like, let's say he was just not wearing his boot when medically he should have been. And I said last week, I don't know, like, again, I get it, he's an athlete and I'm not. But I had to, between a cast and boot, I was in it for 4 months. Now, that was a dozen years ago. Maybe it's changed.
For the record, he was cleared out of the boot a couple weeks ago.
He was?
Yes. He was not medically deemed necessary.
Okay, so there you go. So things have obviously changed, and maybe the fact that he's an athlete, you get out of the boot sooner. Who knows? But if they can prove that he did this before he was eligible to get out of the boot, or before he was medically cleared to get out of the boot, maybe they can get out of this. Who knows? It seems very unlikely. I don't know how the hell they'd prove this, but I would definitely pursue it and not worry about the relationship it might cause with some other players. I ultimately don't think players care that much.
I think if they went heavy, like private investigators trying to subpoena security footage, that might be a little. That might be.
I don't know. They might have to do that.
However,
go ahead.
If someone comes to them and says, "Look, I've got video of him dancing, and it's from this date," or "I've got video of him doing this," or I have video of the injury. It happened outside of my store.
Right.
And you can see what he was doing. The Browns are going to look at that, and if it's 100% egregious, I think they'd be crazy not to pursue that avenue. I do think, to Florio's point, I do think there is definitely something to that. Players talk. Players know where they want to go and where they don't want to go, and you never want to be that franchise that nobody wants to come play for. I think that they may already be that franchise again. I don't know. But to me, here's my bottom line on the whole thing. Cut the man a check. Tell him to go off and live his Instagram life. Have your best life. Do whatever you need to do. But you are, as of today, no longer a Cleveland Brown. It has been one negative distraction headline after another. Are they really going to let this play out for 5 full years? Because we've got 3 years behind us, and it's been a dumpster fire.
Right, but that doesn't
Let's end it.
Yeah, but that doesn't help them in terms of the cap.
No, it doesn't help
I
them.
would pursue that.
And to your point of the 1%, I don't know what the percentage is.
Yeah,
I think it's an extreme long shot that they get any relief.
Yeah.
And because of that, wash your hands of it. Get the karma off of you. Get that stank off of your franchise and move on. It's going to take years. This isn't a 1 or 2 year rebuild. I just don't think it is. So just cut bait now and be done with the Deshaun Watson experiment.
Well, will you explain real quick the cap situation with this?
I mean, there's still the hit is the hit.
What's that, Mike?
Well, will you explain the cap situation if they were to get some money back in this situation? Like how much cap space they would get?
I have no idea. I don't think it's ever happened before.
There's a weird formula for it. Jason was saying nobody really knows what it is.
It's a percentage. It's a form. It's everything in the NFL is behind secrecy and closed doors.
Oh, you mean the insurance part of this? Or if they got out of his contract?
Both.
No, the cap relief.
The cap relief.
The cap relief is take
hold on. Let me
take off the table. They're going to void the contract. Take that off.
Yes.
Just the situation that they're in. They will get a percentage of cap relief
but
based
very
on
small.
It's not. I don't know what the number is. It's not a. I don't think it's a huge number, but there is some cap relief, not dollar relief.
Yeah, right.
Cap relief. There's also insurance on the contract. There's two different things we're talking about. And all the money from the past that they pushed forward, you get no relief on that.
Right.
Every time they restructure the contract and move money ahead, every dollar of that still counts on future caps. It's the $46 million in 2025 and the $46 million in 2026, the actual dollars owed to them. There's a formula out there that will give them a percentage of relief of cap on those two numbers. So in the grand scheme of things, in the $172 million that they still have, it's a small percentage of that, but it's at least something.
So here, there's two main reasons why I don't think, and I'll take the emotions out of it because we talk business. When you look at it from an NFL standpoint, one of the things the NFL always wants to make clear is that we only do one thing here: we do not give out fully guaranteed contracts. It's a sport that is tough on your body. We cannot give out fully guaranteed deals, and the owners have all been in lockstep with it. What the Cleveland Browns did with Deshaun Watson was looked at as a faux pas. There is a reason why the other owners in the NFL and the networks were like, hold on. We don't want the Browns on TV. We don't want to talk about it. We don't even want this guy next to it because it incentivizes the behavior that they don't want to perpetuate, which is we're not giving out fully guaranteed deals. And when the Browns did that to get a player that they weren't going to get, because he wasn't going to come here if he wasn't got the guaranteed money, they broke the glass and pulled the move that the league frowned upon. So now, moving forward, the league is not going to bail them out of this or let them get some sort of cap relief to kind of wipe the books clean for them doing something that nobody else agreed with. Two, on the other opposite end of the spectrum, the Players Association is not going to, they're like, look, I'm not about to let you take the guaranteed money.
I know, but I think there's an arbitrator or somebody. This is not up to Roger Goodell.
If they try and void the contract, Garrett's right. The Players Association will file a grievance, and this thing will end up in court.
And so,
but ultimately, it's not their decision.
Well, here's another thing. As you go back and do a little research, when Aaron Hernandez went to jail, the Patriots filed some sort of lawsuit I wouldn't say a lawsuit, but they filed paperwork to get some of the cap relief. The NFL and them have been going back and forth. This happened in 2013. They just now got a little bit of relief, and it was $2.5 million. Nothing major, no big, and they wanted more of it because they're like, hey, and the league stance was, well, listen, you drafted him. You guys make the due diligence on him. Yes, is it bad that he did?
And he had character issues when they drafted him. They knew about it.
They knew that.
And the same could be said of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with this injury.
But what I'm saying to you is the league stance is, it's not about the injury. It's about the league is like, look, we're not going to set a precedent where guys can go around and you offer these wild deals and then we let you off of it because now you have buyer's remorse.
I think that's a great point, G.
But if he's in violation of his contract, that's different.
Yeah,
that is different.
That
if
is
he's
different.
in direct violation of his contract. But to G's point, and he's right. Even so much as the Ravens were publicly saying, what are you guys doing? You're turning the structure of the league upside down. And now that it did blow up in their face, they're going to have 31 owners and a commissioner looking back at them like, tell me how your medicine tastes.
Yeah,
that's why we don't do things like this.
That's exactly.
I don't know. A lot of these other quarterback contracts have all been, 80, 90% guaranteed. I don't think it makes a difference.
Not 100.
But this is
so
the
what? It's still most of the
I think
money.
it's not the dollars,
it's
it's the precedent.
I agree.
But ultimately, I'm saying, listen, we all know there's almost no chance they're going to get out of this contract. But ultimately, the decision would not be, I don't think, by Roger Goodell or the Players Union. It would be some independent arbiter, I think.
Or do the NFL have independent arbiter?
Well, I think they do. In cases, ultimately, it's a contract dispute that could end up in court.
Yeah.
And that's when they would look at the language in the contract in terms of morals clauses and other things of insubordination. They'd have to prove it definitively.
But do you want like Jay, do you want to drag it on like that?
No, you don't.
Yes, $90 million is $90 million. If I'm the Browns, I'm exhausting every avenue I can.
So I gave what I would do. Yeah. I know it's punitive and I know it's a big check. Jimmy apparently has deep pockets. He doesn't care.
Apparently.
What do you guys propose that they do moving forward? Because that's really where the rubber meets the road here.
Well,
what are they going to do to get out of this mess?
So this year they're going to have him on the PUP list or IR, whatever,
IR.
for the entire season.
It benefits them. What happened benefits
part
them.
of it, I agree.
Yeah. And then next year they'll probably, if he is healthy, have to technically keep him on the 53-man roster and not play him, and then they'll cut him after that year.
Why
Officially.
do they have to keep him on the roster? Why couldn't they just pay him and release him? It happens.
Because the cap hit for next year would probably still be too big. I don't know. Maybe by next year it wouldn't be that bad if they cut him.
You want the dead cap hit for
What's
next year?
the dead cap hit if they cut him after the 25 season, Mike?
If he's a pre-June 1st.
No, they won't be pre-June 1st.
No, it wouldn't.
Post-June 1st.
Yeah.
Let me just turn this on. According to Over the Cap, he is a post-June 1st cap hit. I hope I'm reading this right because this is all confusing.
After 25?
Yeah, so for the 26 season.
Yeah.
His last.
Post-June 1st.
Yeah.
Is still $73 million.
Yeah, he'd be on the
by
roster.
that, honestly,
He gonna
by
be on
that
the
point,
roster.
they may still cut him because
No.
The cap goes up. It's not as much
the
of a
cap,
percentage.
the cap, it could be equivalent to what the Broncos have done with
It's
Russell Wilson at that point.
25% of the projected cap
But-
in
but-
26.
Yeah, they could live with that, maybe.
But if he look, this
25% of the projected.
Wait.
cap.
Actually, let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
And Jason, I'm looking at Over the Cap right now. As a post-first cut, would that be in the 26 column or the 27 column if they cut him after the season?
No, that would be 26.
You're looking for the 26th season. It would be after June 1st, but prior to the 26th season.
Yes.
Okay, so then it is 72.9 million.
I mean,
But also
he's not there.
But also they need to restructure this again. They haven't restructured it, I don't believe.
didn't they have?
Yeah, they just did that a couple weeks ago, I thought.
Did it happen while I was gone? I didn't think
yeah,
they did.
yeah.
Oh,
They
you're
did.
right.
They
You're
did,
right.
yeah.
You're right.
They
You're
did.
right. You're right.
Either way,
That's when I
I
was
mean,
gone.
they may 73 at this point in 2 years might not be that much of a percentage more than the Russell Wilson dead cap hit was this past
But
year.
I don't-
Well, Denver hit on their quarterback. So I guess it all comes back to the draft and who the Browns get. Because if they find a quarterback in the draft, he's on a cheap contract.
Right.
So at least you're not paying a free agent.
Yeah, right.
Listen, it's a favor. He's gone the rest of the year.
The fact that he's hurt for this year is a great
He does-
benefit
that
to the
did
Browns.
help him
Yeah.
immensely.
You're not going. So if I'm going to sit here and say, well, you're going to be training off on your own, you're not even going to be around. I'm not taking $73 million hit for that. So you stay on the roster, and we'll figure it out.
I don't know about that because before this happened, and I was trying to figure out a way, how are you going to carry this guy on the 53?
Right.
And I said, just send him home. We might have I don't know how you can, because I'm telling you, like I've talked to players who said it felt like a cloud was lifted when he was gone. Like they felt it internally. And I don't know how you can move on for a year and then
bring him
him
back.
back
Yeah, so
after a year.
Maybe he'll
So
want to be injured too. Who
Maybe
knows?
maybe
You
at
know.
that point you send him home.
Yeah.
But like that carrying a spot on the 53 is valuable.
Punitive.
Like, that's
I
really
know,
that is
valuable.
very
Can't-
punitive.
I mean,
You know
whether or not he's on a
so
spot
you're going to carry
in 20
four quarterbacks. It
But
impacts
Jason-
it impacts how many quarterbacks you can carry.
But it's a year from now. I mean, I don't think we need to worry about it. I think they will either cut him and take the huge cap hit in 26, or find a way to have him injured
As
again
we
for another
sit
year.
here today, I tend to think that they will
Wait,
cut him probably
Yeah.
prior to 26.
and take that massive cap hit. And
But
they'll deal
again,
with it.
these are all reasons why you absolutely pursue getting out of the last 2 years of this
If
contract.
you-
You
right.
exhaust. Listen, in terms of your reputation with other players around the league, 3-14 damages your reputation.
Yeah,
If
you've
you
done
pay
enough
players
damage
enough,
on your
they'll
own.
come to you. It doesn't
25
matter.
years of incompetence damages your
Yeah, that's
reputation.
very true.
More than because I don't think that guys look at this. Frankly, I don't know. I'm sure Deshaun has people in his corner still in the NFL and guys who really like him, guys who play with him in Houston that love him, whatever else. I've also been led to believe there's a lot of players who don't really care for him all that much.
Right.
So I don't think that players are going to look at this and say, "Oh man, can you believe the way the Browns treated Deshaun?" I don't think that's going to
It's
have
not
an
like they're
impact.
going after a white horse here.
But here's the thing. Like, listen, y'all 3 and something. At some point in time, all that cloud and shadowy talk, y'all need to get y'all's ass on the field and play. Like, all that cloud talk, get on the field and play and worry about your jobs. At the end of the day, we need to refocus and move on. If we can't keep talking about it, if we want to move on. So the best thing you can do is say, okay, are you going to pay the man to go away? You going to chill out? What are you going to do? He's not going to be here. The most important thing for the Cleveland Browns next year in 2025 has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. The most important thing is, hey, who's quarterbacking the team tomorrow?
Yep.
Who's quarterbacking this unit? What do we need to do? This is a red herring. This is a nice little shiny object in the corner that has no bearing. Deshaun Watson will never play another game for the Cleveland Browns. We all know that. Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski know that. Let the suits worry about how they pay him. That we need to worry about how we're going to get better.
Yeah, and that's why, I agree with all of that. And that's why I say you eliminate the distraction and the questions about Deshaun and is he coming back in 25 or 26. You eliminate all that when you just come out and make a definitive statement, call a news conference. The Cleveland Browns have decided that as of today, we are cutting all ties with Deshaun Watson.
But they don't have to do that now because at least right now, they don't have to do that.
Well,
that would be,
we won't be
there was a
about
time where I thought that was the proper move, but now that you can put him on IR and he doesn't count as a spot, like you don't have to do that now. Maybe a year from now, but right now you don't have to do that.
And if you in the second they get a young quarterback or a quarterback, I think what you'll start to see is people move on. You won't even hear his name. That's right.
And I think the Browns at some point before the season should just say definitively that Deshaun Watson's hurt. He's out for the year. This way, there's no more questions about him this season.
Yeah, I would have already made that statement.
Well, I mean, didn't they?
They didn't. They didn't say that.
Well, you got Schefter out here saying he can be back in 7 months.
You know what? Right. I poked around a little bit. I know you did too with your doctor. I was trying to figure out where did Adam get this.
I know exactly where he got
There are doctors that will tell you that if you do X, Y, and Z, but the medical profession, the field itself, is laughing at that. Saying there is no way he's stepping on a football field this year.
Guys in that position have to do favors for
agents,
people in player circles.
No, I know,
and that's all that was.
Well, you know that Dr. David Morse, he was on our show, Mike.
When Nick Chubb got hurt the first time.
Right. Yeah. He's a guy who does a lot of videos about football injuries. He said that he thinks it's a career ender.
He does.
I mean, we got a lot of surgeries on the panel. Man, it's incredibly hard to tear your Achilles heel twice. It's very rare statistically. Think about it. He has 2 Achilles heel tears, 2 ACLs, and a shoulder injury that nobody else in the league had as a quarterback.
And he never looked the same after the shoulder injury.
No,
let's not forget that.
I got to say thank you to Deshaun for not taking your rehab seriously, and now you've allowed the Browns to put you on IR.
Wait, hold on. One thing on that real quick. We showed this TikTok video on Friday. Steve, you want to take it? It has been confirmed this was actually filmed in March, way before anything.
Oh, it has nothing to do with this. Who cares?
No, I'm just saying. We showed it, and we said this could have been it. I just wanted to clarify. This video was taken in March before the 2024 season even started. So
but how hateable does it make the two of them to watch the video?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think you're just an old man. On this
you're just hating.
That makes them very hateable.
No, it doesn't. If I see anybody,
it does for me.
Why?
I don't know. Something about the dancing makes them very hateable.
That is.
I saw another dance.
That's the pettiest thing I've ever heard you say.
Petty LeBeau.
Golly, that's incredibly hateable. Like that's like being like. I mean, it's like Jason Lloyd. I mean.
Wait, we gotta see Bull dancing.
He is hating.
I didn't say a word.
No, hold on. But at least Jason Lloyd does it in a real like nondescript way. Jason wakes up and hates because the sun is out. He's like, this. I cannot believe this. He mad. Eyes be this small. Salty. Now you just mad because they dancing. They TikTok.
Well, listen, all right. I heard Deshaun's got a whole series of TikTok coming out from North Korea next week, so that'll be interesting.
Is that possible?
I mean, Dennis
By
Rodman.
the way, speaking of no boot, you're going to start rumors over here.
Hey,
not taking his rehab seriously.
Listen, I got
UCSS looking to void a contract.
You break that again, they're voiding your contract.
You're not listening to your doctor.
Here's what's going to happen. When they cut on this joint, I just promised them that I wouldn't fall in the building.
Yeah, there's no more liability.
I don't
know that you can guarantee that.
What that you
won't fall in the building.
Yeah, that is right. I might pass out. But
Bull, how much would it take for you to start a TikTok video and a TikTok account and every day post a dancing video?
I mean, it wouldn't take that much. It'd probably be funny. Although, isn't TikTok getting banned? What is happening with
that? They've been
saying
that for years.
Yeah. No. Well, actually, the final decision happens Sunday.
Oh.
The Supreme Court in the arguments that in the attorneys file briefs. And the Supreme Court justices are allowed to ask questions.
Yeah.
And there are court experts that listen to the questions they ask and then try to see which way the wind is blowing in the court.
Yeah.
And it appears that all of the experts are in agreement that they are ready to indeed force ByteDance to sell or it is going dark in the United States of America as
so
of
I maybe need to
the
get
19th.
TikTok right now because
Maybe you should get on the bandwagon before it crashes. I would love. I don't have TikTok, but I would get it and subscribe to only you if you would post a dance video every day.
I mean, at first I'd have to do the Deshaun Watson and girlfriend dance. There was that dance before the season that made me so angry I wanted to punch a wall with these with the members of the Chicago Bulls. With this awful
God,
song
that was
going
awful.
in a circle.
That was awful.
I don't know why these things irritate. It's definitely. I told you I'm not a nicer, kinder.
Well,
those things just not offend me, but I find them so irritating.
We're old men.
It's old white man syndrome.
Yeah, it is.
At least you admit it.
Take your ball and go home.
The first step is admitting you have a problem.
Right.